What's good, fam? Welcome back to the zone. Shout out to you as well as the new family members that joined last week. I appreciate the support. Today I'm highlighting Roland Johnston, who had a breakout game in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Orlando Magic. And I must say, Roland played the most minutes out of everyone on the Bulls and scored 28 points, all while shooting 12 for 14 from the field. In addition to this, Roland had 8 boards, 2 assists, and 1 block. And when we compare this to season averages, you can see why this was a great game for Roland. During the regular season, he averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal, all while shooting 48% from the field. Now, considering that Roland is a new quote-unquote player that I'm highlighting, I will go into more detail about Roland after the highlight segment of today's video. So with that being said, stick around if you want to learn more. But let's dive into Roland's key moments during Game 6.
Fadeaway jumper. To the inside, Johnston, and he stuffs it. What a pass to set him up.
Yeah, just solid work on the back end of that play.
Yep, you're right. Finished hard. Here's Chambers. He's been patient so far. Nothing on the scoreboard yet. Basket counts.
He does not looks they've gotten here in the first half. Shape here, they're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety.
And he comes up with the deuce. Rebounded by West. West has got his 7th rebound here tonight. And he dumps it down.
And up there, runs him right into the screen, and then gets the basket.
The kid passes to Johnston. Down low, here's the kid. And the layup is good. And the pull. Lewis, left side. The pass to Forbes. Here's the floater. It's tipped. 3-on-3. Here's Johnston. And off the left side of the rim, and it swirls in for him. That's got the lead up to 12 now for Chicago. Orlando's gotten off to an 0 for 2 to go. West with some nice D. Here's Johnston. Draws contact on the shot, and now a 3-point play. Here's the kid. To the paint. Here's Johnston. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
Well, if you don't take care of the ball, fellas.
Now let's get into who Roland Johnston is in this universe. Roland is a giant among giants, coming in at a height of 7'4" and 254 pounds. He came into the league at the age of 19 after playing a year in Eastern Washington, and at the 5 position, Roland is considered a stretch 5 with his focus areas being the mid-range scoring, inside scoring, and 3-point scoring. That is because Roland is modeled after Byron Scott from the '91 LA Lakers, and the randomizer reduced his defensive abilities and potential but improved his passing and athleticism attributes. Now, his averages are fairly in line with the averages that Byron Scott had during that season. However, the only stat where Roland excelled compared to his base is in assists per game. Now, Roland's lack of rebounding, given his height, is definitely a liability for the Bulls, especially when closing out defensive plays, but fortunately, Skylar Cash and Shannon Cage have been helping out in this area. Roland has a total of 4 badges, which are split evenly across the board, with 1 badge being a Hall of Fame badge and the remainder being gold badges. Starting with the finishing badge, Roland has gold Showtime. For shooting, he has gold Tyler Shooter. Under playmaking, Roland has gold Floor General. And finally, under his defensive badge, Roland has Hall of Fame Brick Wall. Roland's shot chart confirms the focus areas of him taking the majority of his shots either inside the paint or from the mid-range. Roughly 40% of his shots came from under the basket, with Roland making 58% of them, which is to be expected. From a volume perspective, Roland's second favorite area is the mid-range section of the court, where he attempted 30% of his shots while making 46% of them. Although his close shots only account for 16% of his total shots, Roland made 44% of those while shooting 38% from 3, which isn't bad for someone who shot a total of 153s all season. Under the advanced stats, Roland is closer to the bottom of the pack with a player efficiency rating of 11.4. The same could be said for Roland's rebound rate, which is a measly 3.9 compared to the 5'10" Carson Shepherd, who has a rebound rate of 7.4. Now, this is not a knock on the second overall pick, Carson Shepherd. However, I just want to highlight the discrepancy between the two considering the height difference. Now, when we look at the other stats, Roland is in the top 5 for the Bulls with an assist ratio of 23.3, which is fairly close to Skylar Cash, who's been proven to be a playmaker throughout this series. At the very least, Roland has a positive estimated wins added stat, although it's a total of 1 win for the season. Moving on to Roland's season highs, Roland had a high of 29 points in a single game against the Kings, with a high of 3 3-pointers made in a single game. For rebounds, he had a high of 11 and a high of 9 assists against the Cavs. And on defense, Roland had a high of 5 steals and 5 blocks. The FBL, in my opinion, has a small number of primary centers with a total of 55 compared to the 76 centers in the real NBA today. That said, Roland comes in at 15th from a scoring perspective, whereas he is 31st in rebounding. For assists, he's in the top 10, coming in at 9th. For steals, he's near the middle of the pack at 27, while for blocks, he's 36th and 10th in overall field goal percentage. When compared to the rest of the league, Roland is 97th in scoring, 214th in rebounding, 83rd in assists, 180th in steals, 240th in blocks, and 47th in overall field goal percentage. Now, although the stats tell I don't want to say a bleak story, but I want you to remember that Roland is still young and he has room to grow, because remember, a 75 in this league is not terrible since all of the intangibles for all players is at a 25. So in normal 2K terms, that means Roland would be between a 77 and a 79, which is kind of normal for somebody that's new to the league, right? So within a year or two, Roland can be well into the 80s, assuming he hasn't already reached his peak, he plays under the right system, and he doesn't get injured. So considering all that I just said, Roland has some options when it comes to how he progresses as well. He could move to the 4 considering his shooting abilities, or he could work on protecting the paint by improving either his rebounding or blocking, or in the best case scenario, both. Outside of this, Roland will be a solid role player for any team at the very least offensively, especially if he becomes more consistent than he already is and takes more shots. But that will do it for today's video, fam. As always, until the next episode, keep grinding, keep growing, and keep shining. And like I said before, I appreciate y'all. 1.